Hey everybody, I'm Elise Sparks from Sparks Wellness, where we get moving in body, business, and life. And today we're talking to Kelsey Fox Bennett. She is a healer, an educator, a self-love and mindfulness coach. And one thing I love about what she does is, I'm going to read it so I don't mess it up. She helps people transform old, outdated patterns into daily ease. Thank you so much for being here, Kelsey.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun.
Yeah. Okay, I want to dive right into that last thing that I mentioned, because just these words alone, transform old outdated patterns into daily ease, is when I say that, I'm like, yes, that is so necessary. And in the work that I do with fitness, mindfulness, self-kindness, I see this a lot in my clients and the people in my online programs who really have some old patterns that they want to get out of, and they don't want it to be a struggle anymore. They want it to feel easeful. And maybe it is sometimes when they start something new for day 1, day 2, day 3, and then the shininess kind of wears off and it gets hard again, and we go back to those old patterns.
Absolutely.
So what do we do?
Yeah, what do we do with that really hard, complicated thing? Well, there's a lot of little things that we can do to make it easier. And something that I love to do is share simple, practical healing tools that people can weave into our day-to-day, because basically when we're creating a new pattern, it's like we're creating a new pathway in our brain. And if you imagine it as if you have these highways already built to the old pattern, right? And that when you want to do something new, you set this little path in the woods, and it's a little bit harder to get to, but it's where you want to be, right? And it's really easy to be like, oh no, but I always go this highway, and it's, more direct, and it's what I've always done.
Familiar.
Right. It's more familiar, et cetera, et cetera. But the more that you travel that new path in your brain, the more that the highway starts to wood over, the nature comes back, and it's like, oh yeah, that isn't necessarily my go-to. It's still there. You might fall back into it. But the new path becomes stronger the more that you show up for it. And so the way that I like to empower people to make that easier is, first we create this vision or this goal about what we want to feel, how we want to be in this new space. And, I think we're all very familiar in our communities, in our wellness communities, with affirmations, right? And so it's something really positive, it's active, it's clear, it's energetic. I know you work in fitness, so we don't want our goals to be like, I want to lose 5 pounds, and, I want to reframe that. So it's like, okay, how would you feel? I want to feel healthy. I want to feel strong. I want to feel embodied, empowered, whatever it is that really is what you desire underneath that more, more surface goal. And so first and foremost, it's getting clarity. What is it that what is your actual goal, right? So, can you think of one right now?
Yes. Okay. Well, first of all, I'm here nodding my head so much because, an exercise that I often have people do is, especially about exercise and fitness, and say, is get to your why. And that kind of sounds similar to the clarity. It's like, what is underneath that first thing that pops up, which oftentimes for a lot of people is losing the weight, or excuse me, or whatever it is. Not that that is wrong or bad. It's just what's underneath it.
Right.
I think right now I would say something. So I'm in the middle of an online program with a bunch of folks right now. And tell me if this is where we're going or where we're not going. But I think one of the things is that the goal at this point is almost just to keep that consistency.
Yeah.
Like the consistency
Yeah.
is the thing. So I'm not sure how to phrase that into a goal, but well, let's say their goal is to even, like, they've already uncovered it a little bit, and rather than having that physical focused goal, they have a goal of getting on their yoga mat 3 times a week.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they might start out strong, like I mentioned before, but then it's like work, kids, family, friends, all this stuff comes up, and then it's no longer happening.
Okay, so the goal that just popped into my head was I am allowed to put myself first. Because like what you just mentioned was, you know, it's like we prioritize ourselves, and then the old pattern of not putting ourselves first comes up. So I am allowed to put myself first. I'm allowed to receive that love, you know, whatever, and people can kind of personalize as they're jumping on with us, like what it is that they would be receiving if they were allowed to put themselves first. So let's just say that out loud. I am allowed to put myself first.
I am allowed to put myself first.
And I want you to just briefly close your eyes, and everybody who's on with us can do this too. And we're just going to briefly tune in, and we're just going to notice what is coming up in our body in response to this goal. So could be tension, could be lightheadedness, it could be tingling, it could be tightness, whatever you notice. So just do a brief scan. And what are you noticing?
My jaw released a little bit. Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. And you're here with me. I'm asking.
Or is that rhetorical for everybody?
Both.
I'm going for it. My jaw relaxed a little bit, released inside my mouth. I also noticed that my mind zoomed right in to the word allow.
Okay.
It was like the rest of the sentence kind of got a little bit darker, and the allow word was highlighted. And I felt like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And any other tension or anything in your body saying hello?
I wouldn't say tension, but I do notice that I'm a little bit pitched forward in my chair now, when before I was leaning back a little bit. So I kind of feel like I can just notice that my inclination there is to kind of self-correct that a little bit and come a little bit more into alignment over my pelvis.
Cool. Oh, great. That's perfect. And I'm noticing just a little bit, my throat's like, hi, hello. And my low back is also having just a little bit of sensation. And I love, you know, everybody's unique, but I love how you mentioned, you can open your eyes if you like. I love how you mentioned you were leaning forward, and you said you focused in on that word allow, because when we hyper focus, we're like, we lean in, right? And when we're looking at the big picture, usually we lean back. And so you're right, like even physically, we want to be able to do both. And sometimes when we're hyper focused on a goal, then it's like, oh yeah, big picture, there's all these other things that are going to come into play, right? So again, this is all just noticing. We noticed before, and then we noticed after. So then in between, we do yummy healing tools. So I have a big toolbox, but one of the major tools that I use is a thing called Brain Gym, which is a form of educational kinesiology, simple intentional movements that you do with your body that help to reduce stress and reconnect areas of the brain. I could talk about it forever, but it's great.
I'm so excited because actually the first time that we met, you were leading a workshop and I experienced some of this, and I got so excited about it because it's exactly what you just described. Okay, so I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm ready.
Perfect. So we're going to start with a very simple tool called Positive Points. And so I want you can rest your elbows in front of you or on your chest or however's comfortable for you. And I want you to put your fingers on your forehead, in between that eyebrow and the hairline, right in the middle there, right above your eyes. And it's nice to somehow rest your elbows. I just don't want you to overstrain.
Okay, I'm gonna adjust.
I know you've got a big belly.
I'm pregnant right now. So I need to adjust. Okay. I'm also sitting a little sideways at my desk. So okay,
yeah, that's
I'm gonna go over here.
And so what I want you to do is, we're not pushing, we're just lightly pressing. So it's like, it's just barely touching, okay? And I want you to close your eyes and breathe. And as you do that, you're basically bringing a little bit of attention to your frontal lobes through this proprioception, through this touch. And just breathing deeply, slowing down. You want to do this for as long as it takes to find a pulse, to basically have those capillaries, those little blood vessels, send a little attention to your forehead. So basically you're looking for that pulse in both sides. And keep breathing, let your body relax as you do this. And whenever you feel that pulse, just let me know.
I feel it.
Nice, good, and release. Awesome. And I know we don't have tons of time, but let's just do a little bitty stretch as well. Wake up both sides of the body. Yeah, and you know, you do this, all the yummy stuff. Like, it doesn't have to be overly complicated. I love having healing tools in a big toolbox, but sometimes we just need to wiggle or stretch or move to help get that energy flowing. So now we come back to the goal. So we only did one little thing, really. And so let's say our goal one more time. I allow myself, I don't even remember our goal.
I am allowing. I don't remember it either.
I love
I'm
this.
just like mine on pregnancy brain, but no, well, definitely
We're
allow.
also a little blissed out.
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like sometimes the goal changes, right, when we're doing this stuff. So I allow myself to receive more love is what's coming to me right now. So the goal kind of shifted for me. Is there anything coming up for you?
I feel like pretty empowered with I allow.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you went to anyway. So let's lean in one more time and say it out loud.
I allow.
Mm-hmm. And I allow myself to receive more love. And I want you to just notice what's changed. I personally feel like my throat is totally relaxed. I don't feel anything in my low back anymore. I feel more open. And we only did one tiny little thing. So how do you feel?
Well, it's funny because my thing was sort of alignment before, and I definitely I feel taller. Yeah, I feel grounded in my seat, and then I feel really tall through my spine.
Nice. So yay, open your eyes. Yay!
Beautiful. So I love it. So to kind of recap, the steps that we just went through, I know that there's lots of tools that we could, that you use and that we could use, but just what we did just now was like finding the clarity, coming up with that new goal that feels
yummy,
that
we actually desire. Yeah.
That we actually desire, that's like underneath the layers.
Yeah.
How we want to feel. Right. And And then did we go right into the brain gym movement?
So yeah, and then noticing is huge, right? So noticing before and after you do, whether it's the brain gym movement, the positive points, or whether it's you're doing some fitness stuff, or whether it's doing yoga, or whether it's doing essential oils, or, you know, whatever it is that you do. And, you know, depending on the deeper the goal, you might need more support, and you might need to do more than one thing. But then noticing afterwards, repeating the goal and noticing the shift. And then, you know, the key to consistency is like, so we just did positive points. It literally took 1 minute, and you can do that anywhere at any time. And that's why I love my toolbox, because it's stuff like that, where it's like, you can be at work, you can be on the subway, you can be wherever, and you can pull out that tool every single day to remind yourself and remind your brain of this sensation of, I allow myself to receive more love. I have permission. That's what we used before. You know, and it just helps keep your system going to the new pattern, and brings that ease, right? So yay.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Kelsey. And so I always love talking to you and getting your tools. And if you watching want even more of those tools and ideas about brain gym, essential oils, mindfulness, self-love, coaching on any of the above, and even more, you can go find more information about Kelsey in the links below this video. So check out what she has to offer. Go snoop around and look at it. And also, if you did this with us, any part of what we did today, then let us know in the comments what you experienced, what you noticed, what shifted for you. And Kelsey and I would love to hear about your experience. So
great with you. Yay! And support.
Right. Yes. Thank you so much, Kelsey.
You're welcome. Love you. Thank you.